Welcome. What is up? Welcome to This Week in the Mixer bonus edition. As you can see, we have about a replacement level guest this week.
Whoa. I'm 5-0 right now. That's above replacement level.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, yeah. Well, we're pumping up our production here. We're an A-lister, we'll say.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, you're dressed to impress. Like I was saying earlier, I approve of the shirt. I'm at an actual job right now, so I gotta look somewhat presentable.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot going on in a different parking lot than usual. So I doubt we're gonna get the Blue Angels today, but we're gonna make the best. And we're gonna go over a list. Everybody likes the list. So since we got a special guest, we're gonna do special edition. We're gonna change it up. I definitely don't want to talk about matchups. If you want to hear about it too fucking bad, look at the scoreboard. Because I'm done looking at it. I know what Jess got on the win column. Was it her first win?
Yeah.
So I mean, big week for the lady of the league. Congrats. Danny lost by 1 point in that matchup.
Very Danny thing.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have Baker, did he?
No.
Because that would have been epic.
I don't think so.
I saw a lot of people lost because I think Baker got -2 or something, and there's a bunch of people on Twitter that, went into the night ahead by 1 and left Baker in, and
no,
maybe should have benched him.
If Danny had put Baker in, he would have lost by 8.
Yeah, okay. And we definitely would have heard about it.
Yeah.
What else? You won, obviously. I lost. Who did I even play? Zach. You just destroyed me. Put me into irrelevancy. Sean win?
Yeah.
Okay, Sean won, and Anthony won. He beat Mason.
Yeah.
And Matt won. Matt beat Jake. So
No,
there you go.
I beat Jake.
You beat Jake.
Matt lost to Sean.
Oh, okay. Matt didn't win. Sorry. Jess is wearing the pants this week. So congrats to all the winners. To the losers and the haters. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you this week. So we're moving on. So we're gonna do what? We're gonna do 5 best calls heading into the preseason, 5 worst calls, or heading into the season just in general. Kind of loose parameters, just NFL, our league, just kind of generalities. So what should we? I think we should start with best. I'll start it off since this is my thing.
Go for it.
I can't resist to rib Jeff. So I think one of my best calls. There's a lot of hype around a certain team heading into the season. I think they were third in the favorites to take the NFC. The Cleveland Browns.
They're in the AFC, by the way.
The AFC, sorry. This is why I need a fact-checking team. I know they're in the AFC. You just, when you're thinking, you're trying to get your words together, it just comes out wrong. But yeah, the Browns. The Browns are still the Cleveland Browns. That was one of my best calls. I did draft OBJ in a league, so hedge my bet there. But yeah, I did mention in the chat, they're still a young team. I can see them struggling out of the gate, and boy, have they struggled.
It happens. So
those are your boys. You don't got any fire coming back.
No,
they're not going to turn around. They're just going to keep losing games 28-3.
I mean, they're not
31-3.
They're not turning around in the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
most likely. But after that, possibly. I mean, the division's still up for grabs.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well,
I mean,
they got
what
the
are
Bengals,
the Ravens? 3-2.
The Ravens are 3-2, and the Browns are 2-3. And the Browns already beat the Ravens.
Okay,
so that's big, right?
Yeah, they need some O-line help. But anyway, that was one of my best calls. How about you, Jeff? What was one of yours?
I think one of my best calls was Chris Godwin being a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
If you play in any other leagues with me, you also know that I likely drafted him there, as I have him in like 5 out of 6 leagues that I'm in. And that is so far looking like the case.
Yep. Spoiler alert, maybe more on him later. So we'll go to my second one. My second best call was the Mega Market Chargers are still the Mega Market Chargers. I had a feeling they were going to struggle. A lot of people were hyping them up early in the season. Again, hedged my bet, drafted a lot of Chargers, but I knew there was going to be problems. I'm actually surprised they didn't struggle more against Miami, but they're probably going to be 7-9, 8-8 team, which is unfortunately what I thought, even coming off of a 12-4 season.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it looks like so far.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to make the bet with you with the Browns, even though I knew the Browns were going to be bad. Like if I just got a game, I was like, ugh.
You didn't believe
I don't
in your
know.
Chargers?
I was like, I don't know if the Chargers are going to get past 8 wins.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I think my second best call was not drafting Antonio Brown anywhere.
Yeah.
So going into the season, I had Antonio Brown as like my personal like wide receiver 18 or 19. Just not a believer in the Raiders at all, which might be a bad call actually, but good call on the Antonio Brown, all that whole situation,
Yeah. I would have taken him if he was available. I had him above Keenan Allen. So thank God Danny bit that bullet. So thanks, man.
I mean, we also know Danny probably had him above Keenan Allen too then.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, this is draft board. Well, I mean, Danny doesn't always follow logic, so maybe he had Keenan Allen higher, but just wanted Antonio Brown because it had worked so well for me in years past. So another good call of mine. This is kind of lukewarm, but a lot of people had Saquon at the top of their draft board. I had Kamara and Christian McCaffrey at the top of my board as no doubters. That's why I was so triggered, pissed off when that bullshit 100-yard dash event went down and I dropped from like right in contention to be, second priority in the draft pick to being, what was I, like 5th or 6th?
Something like that.
I mean, huge difference. The drop down from those two players to David Johnson, who I got. So, yep.
I mean, David hasn't been bad though.
Yeah, I mean, he's been all right, but he hasn't won me any weeks either. So he's not getting the touchdowns is the problem.
True.
Arizona's not getting the touchdowns. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. It's still a long season, but it would have been nice to have them.
Yeah. I think for me, the next one is Dalvin Cook as an RB, like a true like RB1.
Yeah.
I know Matt knows because he and I co-own a team, but Dalvin Cook was my 4th rated player overall going into this season.
It's a pretty good call.
Yeah, I just, with the way the Vikings ended last year and firing their offense coordinator because he threw the ball too much.
Yeah. And
how good they closed the year with Dalvin rushing the ball, I just figured he was going to get every opportunity, and it's kind of looking like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, who knew, like, late 80s, early 90s offense would produce a successful fantasy running back.
Exactly.
My next best call that Sean is an agent, a big simulation. I mean, the evidence just continues to mount. He's trying to lay low. He is the defending champion. We don't hear anything from him in the Mixer chat since I blew the whistle on him. Hashtag topical. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't came out and denied it. What's the textbook when somebody blows the whistle on you? You renounce that you're not participating in any investigation because you don't recognize it as legitimate. And he just I think it got a thumbs up from him once when I made a joke about him giving the B squad or the D squad to run the simulation over the weekend.
I think he was openly mocking you with that thumbs up too.
Well, I'm just saying he hasn't denied it. And the evidence continues to mount. So we're on to you, Sean. Fraud champ.
All right, so for my next good on the season, this isn't going to be a good call going into the season. This is something that happened, I'm pretty sure it happened week 1 or right after week 1. But Zach, who I thought didn't have a particularly great draft, had probably the best free agent week of anyone after week 1 in picking up Terry McLaurin, Will Dissly, and DJ Chark, all for the combined total of $0.
Yeah.
That was a pretty solid waiver period for Zach. And I believe he starts at least 2 of the 3.
He's been, well, yeah. He should, but I've had my eyes on DJ as possible a trade option to target, but like I just can't work out a deal that makes sense for both of us in my head. Unlike some in the league, damn it. I try to send out trade offers that I feel make sense to both teams, and usually I try to send ones that I think benefit the other team more than benefit mine, because I know people are kind of hesitant. But anyway, I can't get that going for DJ. But yeah, that's crazy. In the same week where Anthony dropped like 750 on who was it? Hawkinson, Hollywood Brown, who's been pretty good, and there was another, I think it was like a defense or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a quarterback. But yeah, to get those players for $0.
It's a pretty solid week.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not hesitant to acknowledge the doorman after the beatdown he put on me last week, but yeah, good job, man. I know you're a good guy, and you reluctantly destroyed me, but yeah, good job on waivers there. Maybe make it up to me by trading someone to me. So my last best call is just in general is to not hot drop with anybody in the mixer, and I think that speaks for itself and continues to prove true anytime in the rare opportunities I get to play with you guys. What's your last one, Jeff?
My last one is really just that everyone's active. It's nice to see. I do have a negative around this, or a bad. Mm-hmm. But I do like everyone's making waiver moves. Everyone's like adjusting their rosters each week. No one's given up yet, which is always nice to see. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
You mean Jess hasn't started anybody on a bye like she did late last season?
I don't believe so. She also hasn't had that many opportunities yet.
That's a good point.
So
we're watching. We're watching. Set your lineups. This is a legitimate league. We have like a video series that gets like an average of like 2.2 views. But I will say my last 2 videos, I've gotten like 15 views on them or something, so maybe I need to just produce more ridiculous content.
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, and I don't know. More to come. All right, worst calls. This will be better, I think. Well, this will be entertaining, as entertaining. So my worst call of the season, I was sitting at the 4 pick. I took David Johnson. Maybe I should have took Dalvin Cook. I was pretty low on Dalvin Cook. Not super low. Like I had him like 8 or something, or 7 as far as RBs. But anytime like his name was at the top of the list, I was like, no, I don't want this ancient offense. There's no way it's going to work. Kirk Cousins is the dude. Like, yeah, maybe it worked for a few games at the end of the season. But we didn't, and Dalvin Cook had only played, 10 games? He started one season, tore his ACL, right? Mm-hmm. And then he started the next season and was injured. Like, did it carry over? I can't remember. But he didn't play that many games. So, I don't know. I had the injury-prone thing in my head. They just drafted Alexander Mattinson. I thought it was going to be like a timeshare. Nope. He's a workhorse and, one of the best backs in the league. So, egg on my face. That's one of my worst calls for sure.
It happens.
Yeah.
A
little too often this season.
Yeah. In the same vein, I had Baker as like my 3rd overall quarterback going into the season. Did not work out, or has not worked out at all.
Yeah, and I was kind of pressured by, maybe I shouldn't look at other people's ranks, because everywhere I looked, they had Baker like top 5.
Mm-hmm.
It was usually Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, and then a lot of people had like Baker at 3.
That was my top 3, was Mahomes, Watson, and Baker.
Yeah, and I was just like, that seems freaking crazy. Like, everybody's really buying into it. Like, he's gonna, I mean, and they had like Russell Wilson down at like 15.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so like, I don't know. I think I ended up with Baker at like 6 or 7, just because I didn't want to be so far off if he ended up being really
Right.
good. Then I had like Russ, I think, like right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Aaron Rodgers in there. I think I had Drew Brees a little higher than most people in there. Like Brady was a little higher than most people in there. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't look at ranks, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. It just changes so much every year.
Yeah, it's tough.
My next worst call, I mean, this could easily be my worst call, is just that the Tampa Bay offense was broken. Especially like the pass catchers. I just didn't want anybody, I've talked about it, I didn't want anybody that relied on Jameis Winston making the right decision. You know what I mean? I thought they were just going to be terrible. And I mean, the good thing for them is their defense is terrible, so they end up in a lot of shootouts. But Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are both wide receiver 1s on a weekly basis, and I have none of them. So
I mean, except for last week, Mike was at a big fat 0 points.
Yeah, and that's what I was worried about. I was worried about that happening more frequently. So I mean, it's still there, but it's almost like Amari Cooper. It's like,
right.
I just carbon copied my Amari Cooper takes and applied it to Tampa Bay, and eventually I'll look somewhat like I know what I'm doing, but
In like 5 years when they're all retired.
yeah, of course.
So my second, and this isn't going into the year, this is a decision that somebody made in the league, but Danny not trading Antonio Brown for anything, let alone Keenan Allen, baffled me as it was happening, and still baffles me.
Yeah.
Luckily, he finally dropped Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I forget who it was for, but it was picking somebody up this week. But yeah, like, I mean, granted, that's coming. I know everyone's different.
He picked up Chase Edmonds for Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and I mean, I know everyone's different on the Keenan versus Antonio Brown thought process, and Antonio was going to the Patriots, I think, at the time, but like...
No, that was before.
It was before?
Yeah, he was cut, I think it was when he was still on the Raiders. I think it was before it was when the Raiders suspended him for calling the owner a cracker.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
And that's when I sent the trade offer. I was like, all right, well, he's gonna be a headache, but I'm down.
You're cool with it.
Yeah, it's worked for me.
Yeah, that one, and then Danny just not getting anything for him.
Yeah.
When it was pretty clear that Antonio Brown probably wasn't going to play again.
If there's one person that it had to happen to in the mixer, I am glad it was Danny.
Well, I mean,
I know he'll handle it well.
Yeah, he's used to it at this point.
Totally level-headed. Definitely doesn't think about it all the time. So yeah, thanks Danny, bailing me out of that one. What else? My next worst call was, this is like a personal apology right here. I'm glad you're here, as I was saying that Jeff drafted a C team. So
I get it.
Yeah, clearly, you almost have double the points that I have right now. So congrats. It was a bad call. Obviously, there were some misplaced preseason evaluations there. So
it's still a long year, right? Like, it's been a great first 5 weeks for me, but who knows? The next 8 weeks could be terrible. I could end up 5-8.
You just hate to see teams like that fizzle out.
That's true.
End. You hate it.
Very true. I think for me, this is a mixer one. Is I like that everyone's active, but there's been 0 trades in the mixer this year. And I know there's been a lot of trade talk. not just between me and people, but like I know between other people, there's been a lot of trade talk. And I'm kind of surprised, especially looking at some teams, that no one's wanted to take certain players. You know,
I feel like the rosters that we have right now, since it's 10 team, kind of inhibits trading a little bit.
Yeah.
I almost feel like if we say 10 teams, we almost like need to add a running back, wide receiver, flex or something.
Yeah, it does make it
get
tough.
More creative.
Because like, I mean, there's guys on the waivers every week that are
playable.
You know, I mean, I picked up, someone dropped Will Fuller, and I picked him up last week, right? Like, I don't, you know, and that was an understandable drop at the time, right? Like, he hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, guys like that should really be rostered in most leagues, and when we have them on the waiver, I get why there's no trading all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe something to think about in the offseason, commish. Just an idea. My next bad call was that Jess drafted a B team. Yeah, she has one win, but definitely not backing up that draft grade. So apologies to all those out there for believing in the one lady in our league.
It happens. My next one is, and I know, I'm sure we all kind of had him fairly high, but drafting Joe Mixon,
Rip.
You know, I luckily
T's and P's
was not in a position to draft him very often, so I don't really have him anywhere. But I had a belief that he was going to be a good running back this year, you know, and I was looking at it this morning, I think in terms of like points per game, I think he's like 40th for running backs or something like that, or like 35th. He's not even a top 24 guy. And that's pretty rough, especially when you take him 15th overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be better days ahead for Mixon.
I believe that.
He signs for
it just may not
team.
be this year.
Yeah, probably once his contract. Because the Bengals just... not good. Bengals gonna bangle. Second to last one here. Worst call. Okay, so I made not an insignificant amount of money last year doing what's referred to in the DFS community as the onslaught strategy. So basically what this is, for all those plebs out there that don't know about DFS, it's a strategy where you try to pick a game that's going to be high scoring, and then you just roster everybody in there. You like jam in wide receiver 4s,
just imagine the
2s.
Imagine the Chiefs-Rams game from last year.
Yeah, that's the game that I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think I had Goff because Mahomes was too expensive. I had like Cooks. I had Hill. I had Tyreek on the other side. I had who's their third? Josh Reynolds was the like wide receiver 3 last year when Kupp was hurt. And then I had Gerald Everett as tight end. I think I had the Chiefs defense in that game, and even though it was like 50-50, I think they ran back a kick and had like a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, and I did it in other games too, and it was pretty successful. So I was like, this is the ticket. Like, maybe not get so insane, but I was like, I just need to draft like as many Chiefs, as many Rams, and in some cases as many Chargers, even though I thought they were going to suck, as possible on my teams, and just roll that way, and it has not worked. So don't do it. Maybe maybe not in season long. It might work in single games, but trying to hack season long, it is not working out.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So for my last bad call, now this being bad is relative because the team that did this is performing pretty well. But dropping Phillip Lindsay 10 days after you draft him in the 7th round, it is probably not the best idea. And I wasn't even a big Phillip Lindsay fan this year. But he's definitely rosterable. And as it turns out, through the first 5 weeks, He's 13th in points per game for running backs. Even splitting carries with Royce Freeman.
Yeah. He looked pretty good in that first draft. By the way, I was like, well, I can't really blame my daughter for that picking Melvin Gordon over Phillip Lindsay last week, but I was at a restaurant watching the Charger game, and Phillip Lindsay goes out there and like he gets 10 points on the first drive. He got I think he got 60 yards, a catch, and a touchdown in the first drive, and I was like, I knew it. And I wanted to play him. I wanted to play Lindsay, but everybody, all the analysts were saying, no, Melvin Gordon. And I knew that the process was bad, but, my daughter picked it. I had to go with it. That would have been magic if Melvin Gordon would have, won me a week or something. So,
yeah.
Don't play into the narratives.
Yeah, I mean,
trust your process.
You could have got that 100-point game out of Melvin last week. That
yeah,
might
I
have
know.
got you there.
It would have made a difference, but yeah, I know it would have made a difference. But I mean, the points do matter because do we give 2 spots to the 2? Okay, so
the first 4
every point counts.
Yeah, first 4 in are based on record, and then points after that.
Yeah, and I got a playoff streak to continue.
Well, probably not, but you can try.
Oh, I guess those were our last one. Wait, you got one more? No,
that was
your
my last
one. All right, good timing because I gotta get back.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully we get Jeff more often. Definitely up the quality level. It's good to have somebody to bounce off ideas off of instead of recycling the same 3 jokes I tell in different variations every week. But that's it. So let's get it. See you guys next week. Later.